I look like those creatures in Dark Crystal.
Hello! Hark! Dost thou hear the call? That can only mean one thing. Yes, it is only mid-August, and I am fully aware that it is too early for Halloween. But listen here, you Halloween humbugs. I am going to Disney in a month, officially. And on that Disney trip, me and my best friend Tommy will be going to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. And while this dress that I'm making today is going to be just for the day portion of things, so it's going to be my Disneybounding outfit, I feel pretty justified that I can get down to some spooky goodness. So during the day, we plan to Disneybound as Jack and Sally. For this, I wanted to make my own dress. And for this dress, I knew that I wanted to go with some more recycled material because I feel like recycled materials and the character of Sally kind of go hand in hand. After all, she kind of is one big recycled material. And my plan is to make kind of a vintagey 1950s looking sundress. So I guess this is sort of similar to my Butt Make It Vintage series, but I wanted to try something different where I challenged myself to make this dress in one day, similar to Adam Savage's One Day Builds over on his Tested channel. Adam Savage is everything that I want to be. So here I am with my one day make. Not quite as catchy, but it'll do. So I'm going to show you what I got to use for the dress. I went to the thrift store. Originally, when I was planning this video slash dress, I was thinking, okay, I'll go to the thrift store, grab a few shirts for maybe $3 or $4 each. It'll be a cheap DIY craft. I had forgotten that Savers, at least, has jacked up their prices. It wasn't as cheap as I was hoping. Each shirt was around like $8 or $9, which is silly when you think about the fact that I'm just going to be tearing them apart. Much like the rest of my whole Disney trip, I'm just not going to think about how much money I'm spending. And then I'll be happy. Start the chaos. How did this get in there? If you look at Sally's dress, it's a little hard to tell what the base material and base colors are made of because, number one, the movie is very desaturated. Any color that you get from the actual screenshots are a little Tim Burtonized. And then if you look at more reference photos from either toys or video games or costumes, they're all over the place. Some of them have really intense colors, really bright colors. It was a little bit hard for me to tell what colors to grab, but I did my best. It was kind of fun to go along the racks and just search for specific textures and specific colors. It also made it a little bit harder. It doesn't have to be perfect. The whole idea of this project is that Sally is kind of a mishmash, so I think it'll still read Sally. I'm not too worried about making this a cosplay or anything. So first up is this dress. It doesn't matter too much what it looks like, but I want to use this as kind of the top and bodice and such, and then the skirt itself can be more patchwork. And then I got this pale purple, pink type fabric, darker green. Oh, I think I can actually smell the old woman's house that owned this. It smells like baby powder and regret. Pinkish tank top. This cardigan that is cream type material, which is kind of a shame because this is a cute cardigan. Bye bye. And then I went to the fabric store and I got some felt because I think the base of this dress is going to be a circle skirt, and I've always wanted to make a circle skirt out of felt because I've heard and seen that it's very easy. So we're gonna try that. It already has tons of cat hair on it because I brought it home, put it on my dining room table, and my cat decided that it was her throne, so it's nasty. Aside from all this, I got black embroidery thread, and I got some black fabric markers. In addition to all this material, I will be hopefully weathering everything. I will probably be using acrylic paint for that. I know that probably will make some of you angry. I don't intend for this dress to be a kind of everyday wearable item. I don't intend to wash it. Much like a lot of my cosplays, I use acrylic to weather things and change the color of certain fabrics. So that's what I'll be doing today. So just a warning, if you want to shield thine eyes. I'm very excited. Pretty much any project or cosplay where I can tear things apart, make things look ratty and worn. It is now 10:54, which is a little later than I had hoped, but I'm the worst. So we're gonna see if we can make this baby in one day. Wish me luck. For the design phase, I have a reference photo. So I mentioned that I want it to be kind of a 50s inspired dress, and I'm gonna very loosely base my silhouette off of this. Alright, whatever, good enough. So as far as the general shape, I'm gonna have a big floofy skirt, and then the top is gonna be separate, like I said. And I think I want it to kind of point down at the waist, and then maybe a sweetheart neckline, straps, sleeves attached to the top of the straps. Maybe add some fake buttoning on the top, but I'm not sure. And then as far as the skirt, I don't think I'm gonna have too much rhyme or reason about this. That's kind of the general idea, and then in between all of these, I'm going to add some black embroidery thread so everything looks stitched. That's the game plan. So first things first is going to be the circle skirt. Let's see. And I know that I'm supposed to fold it in half, and then that's kind of how you make the full circle. So first things first, I do need to measure my waist, which I already know my waist, but for the sake of education, I need to measure my waist, add an inch or two to that, and then I need to decide how long I want it to be. So let's do that. So I know that I want it to fall shorter than the skirt I'm currently wearing. So it looks like that would be around 30 inches. Don't mind me. Basically, you're gonna wanna make just one big half circle with two different radiuses, one being where your waist is gonna go, and then one being the actual skirt itself. To get the waist radius, you would take your waist measurement plus a couple inches and then divide by 6.28. My waist is around 27 to 28 inches, so we'll go 29 inches. I like my skirts to be tight. What is 29 divided by 6.28?
The answer is approximately 4.618.
So where I'm gonna anchor the measuring tape is here. So basically, using this like a compass, we have to figure out the actual skirt length radius. So it's gonna be kind of the same thing as this. I want the skirt to be around 30 inches. And then because it's not just starting at the base, it's starting at the waist radius, I have to add the waist radius to the length of my skirt. So 30 plus 6.28, no, just kidding. Math! 30 inches plus 4.62, 34.62. Okay. To be safe, I'm going to go to 35, just because I can always cut the skirt down if I want to. We have some boots and also a skirt. Quite literally, when we unfold this after cutting it out, it will be a full circle. The waist is pretty big on me. That's because it's kind of meant to be tiny bit gathered at the waist when you add the waistband. Originally I was on the fence about adding a waistband, but I think I'm gonna do that now because I think it'll help cinch in the waist a little bit. And it'll also be a little easier to attach the bodice to a waistband rather than just the skirt itself. So very, very easy. I'm literally gonna take the measurement that I want and cut out a band out of the felt and then attach it. Let's do that. So here she is so far. The waistband is very, very wonky, but I'm not very concerned about it because all of this is going to be covered up with fabric anyways, and this is more or less just so I can attach the bodice to it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have pinned the fabric and such to it before I gathered it and attached it to the waistband. Didn't think that one through. Anyways, I think I'm gonna get started on the bodice. I have an old 50s dress that is broken and that I don't plan to do anything with, but I kept it so that I could maybe use it as a pattern. So I think I'm gonna do that. This is the dress I was talking about. It is very beautiful, but also very ripped. Trust me, it's beyond saving, but it does have this really beautiful bodice. I'm tempted to make these pattern pieces out of my remaining felts and then just put the fabric on top of it so that way it's kind of structured. I also don't know if that's going to be too hot. So my plan right now is to take this bodice and start taking the seams apart and using them as pattern pieces. Bodice so far. I have attached all the outer pieces with the lining, just pin them for now. I think I'm going to focus on the skirt, but yeah, she's coming together. Huh. Okay. Whew. This took me quite a long time. It is now 3:43. I'm really happy with how it looks so far, which is a good sign because I feel like it can really only improve visually when I add the patterns and weathering and the stitching. So I'm not positive how I'm going to sew all this. I think if I just do embroidery thread that the fabric might get a little saggy. But then again, maybe if I make the stitching a bit closer together, it'll hold everything better and just make sure that the fabric is kind of taut because I really don't want to run this all through my machine and then do the black thread on top of it. I'd rather just save a step if I could. I think I'll try to start with a small section, that method, and then if it doesn't work and if things get kind of saggy, then I'll switch over to my machine. Let's do it! I did the first section of stitching. Oh boy. Oh, why do I do this to myself? Wish me luck, I guess. She then sewed for the rest of her life. As you can see, it is now the next day. I kind of want to go back in time and laugh in my face when I thought this would be a one-day project. In fact, I think I will. To make this dress in one day. Ha! So let me talk about what I did at the end of yesterday and then what I still have left to do, which isn't too much. I finished up the stitching yesterday and watched about 5 movies, drank more mini Diet Cokes than I'm willing to admit. And then once that was done around 10:30 p.m., I started drawing the patterning, which also took a while because the fabric marker I had was garbage. And then once that was done, I took a wash of black and gray acrylic and I weathered it. Now this step is very extra and definitely transforms it more into a costume than, you know, a normal garment, but honestly that's what this is. I think it really helped a lot. I just added it on the place where the seams met and I think it makes it a lot more believable now, if that makes sense. Now it looks like the pieces go together a bit more than they did. So let's take a look at what we've got. Surprise, I'm still in the same spot. So yeah, here she is. So far, I am so happy with how the skirt came out. I don't ever want to think about how much stitching I did ever again in my life. I think it was all worth it, and I think, like I said, the weathering helped a bunch. And then because I'm lazy and I don't want to stand up, we're gonna bring her down on my level. Bloop. So this is the bodice. I stitched everything together. Got some pointy 1950s gazooms. What I have to do next: add the straps, attach the bodice and the skirt. So I know technically this isn't a one-day make, but you know, I'm still gonna call it a one-day make. It's like a day and a couple hours. Technically, she was still made under 24 hours, so if you want to think of it that way, she's still one-day make. I'm just a little bit of a liar. I'm sorry, Adam Savage. She is done. Never promise yourself you're gonna finish a sewing project in one day. It always ends bad! Put the straps on. I put the zipper in, which took me literally forever because I am the actual worst at installing zippers. And then I did the hem, which took also forever. And it is very messy and needs to be cleaned up. For right now, it's gonna have to do because I want to be done with this. I am exhausted. I have blisters from the scissors that I was using, but she's done. So now we just have to try her on. Wrap this baby up, I'm just going to talk about some things I think worked, some things I think I'm going to improve on, even adjustments I'm going to make before I wear this to Disney World in September. I think obviously my favorite part is still the skirt portion of it. I think all the patterns came together really nice, and I think the weathering really helped to make it cohesive. The top is okay. I think the bust part is nice and flattering. Did end up going in and nipping in the waist a little bit more because it was kind of boxy. It's still not the most flattering thing ever, but I always struggle when it comes to sewing projects, making garments nice looking around the waist. So that's something that I'm still teaching myself. I think one adjustment I will make when I go to wear this is adding a couple buttons like I had originally planned. Just because I think a big color block, and I think compared to the skirt, it's a little boring. So I think just to add some interest, I'm just gonna put a few buttons there. She's warm. She's not horrible because I do have, you know, my arms out, my guns out, and it is quite breezy underneath the skirt. I think I'll be fine. I am so happy with her. Obviously, she's not perfect. The day that I make something that doesn't have any flaws, you should be concerned. And also because she's a circle skirt, she spins like a dream. I could not show you that in my white backdrop area because it's simply not large enough. So here's some wholesome spinning footage in my messy living room.
Something a little, you know, with a lot of excitement.
And that is it for my 1.5 day make of Sally's dress. I know this is early autumn content, but hopefully it can get you in the mood. Because honestly, it's never too early to start preparing for Halloween. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. I had a lot of fun making this, even though I wanted to tear my hair out. I love you guys whether you're new or old to this channel. If you're new here and you feel like sticking around, feel free to subscribe. I upload every week. We have fun here. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! He's sleepy baby. Naked! Wow. Wish me luck. Oh, I can't reach. Dang it. That was gonna be cool. Squeaky. Where'd my pen go? Oh, Lord. And I decided, sorry, I'm a barbarian. Nailed it. It feels like tragedies at hand. Although I'd like to stand by him. That was Sally's song by Adam Sandler. Some nice painter's tape decor. Nope, you're just delivering some packages, and here comes the guard dog. Jesus, take the wheel. That's gotta be the winner because I'm gonna hurl. Oh, get out. Please. Boys and girls have every age. Wouldn't you like to see something strange? Tender lumplings everywhere. Okay. Alright, let's go edit this baby. Huh? Oh, I'll edit. You'll probably just sleep.